Mark Dawes here, and I've been sent a really interesting question in by a guy who's a brilliant trainer, a guy called Mike White. So Mike, thanks for sending the question in, and he agreed that I could share this answer with you. Now, the question Mike asked me was this: if a child is stood outside the school gates and is refusing to come into school, can the staff, under the duty of care owed to the child, use reasonable force to bring that child into school? Because obviously leaving the child outside the school on its own unsupervised could be a risk to the child. Well, first and foremost, let's establish one thing. There's a difference between a duty of care and the power to use reasonable force. Duty of care is absolute, must be done. Power to use force is a discretionary issue. Okay, so the duty overrides the power. So let's just go back a little bit. If the child is refusing to come into school, then we have to try and understand why that child is refusing. And this brings me on to the point of this video. There's a phobia out there, and bizarrely, not a lot of people, including schools, know about it. It's called school refusal phobia. And it's a massive problem because if the child has experienced, say, for example, bullying in the school from either other pupils or the staff, and that bullying is associated with that environment, then that phobia may kick in. And that phobia will physically stop the child from entering school premises. Now, I've had to deal with this on more than one occasion with schools. And when I mention this, it's an eye-opener for a lot of people. Now, Mind, the mental health charity, are asking for this phobia to be recognised as a mental health condition because it's real. Now, I've just mentioned that it could stem from bullying, but it could also stem from something that's going on in the child's own home. So if there are family issues, relationship breakdowns, whatever is going on in the home, that could lead to it. But fundamentally, the child's self-esteem is that low that when it comes near the school, the phobia triggers. And it's actually acting in the child's best interest. So the amygdala, that part of the brain that deals with the fight, flight and freeze response, is actually trying to keep the child safe by not allowing the child to enter an area of risk. So I just want you to think for a minute. If that child is suffering from school refusal phobia and staff go hands-on and exercise their power to use force to bring the child into school, is that really in the child's best interest, or could they be adding to the trauma? Now, with school refusal phobia, they could certainly be adding to the trauma. Therefore, it's not in line with the duty of care owed to the child, and it cannot be in the best interest of the child. So this is something that I thought I'd share with you because it's a really, really interesting area, and a lot of children suffer with this. Like I said, we've had to deal with this on more than one occasion with a couple of schools where staff were going to physically grab hold of a child and bring them into an environment that the child associates with trauma. Okay, so how do you deal with it? Well, there's a number of ways that you can deal with this, and I'm not going to have the time to disclose all of that to you on a video. So if you want to discuss that, if you do have an issue with this, or it's triggered a thought in your head that a child that you're dealing with in your school, for example, may be suffering from this, then do get in touch, and I'm happy to talk it through with you on a case-by-case basis, because all of this should be recorded in the child's behavioural care plan and in the restraint risk assessment. But remember, we have a duty of care and we have the power to use force. The duty of care is absolute. The power is discretionary and should only ever be used consistent with the duty of care. So the duty overrides the power. So once again, Mike, thanks for sending that question in. It's a really, really interesting question. Thanks for allowing me to share the answer with everyone. And I hope that this helps you because, like I said before, bizarrely, not a lot of people know about this phobia, but it's real and it exists. And as we come out of lockdown now, children particularly who have been in isolation, who have been away from their friends, will have anxiety and fears about going back to school possibly. I mean, I know we ran a training course recently and quite a few adults on that course said coming on a physical attendance course, was quite concerning for them. They were quite worried and anxious about it. So if you multiply that by adding in the fact that there could be family issues going on, bullying at school, many other things that damage the child's self-esteem and self-confidence, you'll get to understand how powerful this phobia is because it physically takes over the child's body and it will stop them in its tracks and prevent them from entering the school. And all this is happening from the amygdala, as I've said already, in the child's best interest. Anyway, I hope that helps. And like I said, if you are experiencing anything like this, I'm happy to talk to you about it on a case-by-case basis, so do get in touch. You know, you can leave a message here and I'll get in touch with you, or message me or drop me an email or whatever. All right, thanks ever so much for listening. I hope you have a great day, and I hope this video helps. Take care.